Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shion Akinloa. I just want to talk about the hidden cost of migration. Many times when we talk about migration, we only look about the good parts, and it's okay. But today I just want to talk about, having to look at both the positive and the other side. The other side does not necessarily mean negative side, but what are the things that can happen, when one migrate? For instance, a lot of people when they migrate, they don't migrate with their parents, they don't migrate with their siblings. They just do that on their own, maybe with their families, if they are married. If they are not, they just do that on their own. So, what are the things that can happen? Um, you know, we leave we leave behind, families, friends, acquaintances when we migrate. And sometimes, being in a faraway land, we hear different things, stories that touch the hearts. Like, for instance, this year I lost my dad. It wasn't expected, really. It wasn't expected. But I knew down the line that it will happen. I did not know when, honestly, but I just had a feeling it will happen. Okay, I remember on the 30th of July, my dad called me and said, I want to tell you that I am going. My days are numbered. And I was like, huh, daddy, why? Oh, he said he was sick, he had malaria, and he's fine now. I said, okay, daddy, why not go to the hospital? He said, no, he won't go to the hospital. And at the time when he called me, he would not call me at such times. I was just leaving work. But it happened. He called me and then he said to me that he's just saying, he just wants to let me know. He had already told my brother as well. And then I called my mom, daddy said he's dying and everything. But we just didn't really believe all that. Then the following, the 31st of July, I was in the middle of some things. I got a phone call from home saying that my dad can't talk. And I was like, oh, daddy still spoke with me. So I said, okay, can I arrange for Uber? And the woman said, don't worry, your brother will do that. And okay, so that was it. I tried to, call my mom. Oh, this is what I've heard. And she said, okay, everything is fine. She's been talking to daddy. And we kept going back and forth. I didn't know that that would be the last, that phone call my dad made a day before he died. That would be the last. I didn't expect it. I tried calling afterwards. I couldn't get through to him. And later at night, I remember calling again at around 8:50 at 8:50 p.m. because I checked the time. And a young girl said they are trying to take daddy to the hospital. Okay. And the next thing was like I said, God, if it's your will for him to go, Lord, let him make heaven. I didn't know when I was pouring out my heart to God. And I said, God, you've been a father to me. You've been everything to me, God. You've been everything. You've been a father. I was just having a conversation with God. I didn't know that that would be the last. And truly, we went home to be with Jesus. It was around that period I was praying that I went home. Around 9:30 to 10, the doctor called from Nigeria and saying that is gone. It was like a dream. Even till today, sometimes I feel as though, something has been taken off me, something dear to me has been, taken away. That's the way I feel. So, but what I would just want to say is that the main point about this YouTube, this video today is all about, the hidden cost. Sometimes people are abroad, they are estranged from their families. Well, they don't care about them. They say they don't want to hear anything about them, and they are there on their own enjoying themselves. But one day will come when that family member will be taken away. And what would you do? How would you feel? These are some of the hidden cost of migration. So I just want to use this opportunity for people, who are estranged from their families. Maybe you've been deeply wounded by family members. This life is just once. And after that, nothing. Please reconcile whichever way you want to. If you've not been looking after your parents, you're always saying, "Oh, I'm struggling, I don't have anything." Look after them so that when they die, you will not be filled with regrets. So that when they die, you can feel at peace. There's a joy that comes, with being at peace with oneself, being at peace with God, being at peace with people. I'm not saying trying to be a people pleaser, no. But what I'm just trying to say is that if you still have parents alive, you have to look after them. You have to provide for them whichever way you have to. Well, for some people, they will say, "Oh, are you saying it's a must?" Yeah, I think it's a must. I think it's good to honor them. Some of them, they've spent their lives well. Some of them they have not. So also, let's say you also have not you've not used your days wisely in every aspect. So you have to look after them. You have to make it a top priority. Every one of us has got just one life. And after, the Bible says, his judgment, it's appointed for a man to die once, and after his judgment. So the other angle I also want to talk about is, saving. If things like this happens, like I was talking to a friend on Friday, I said, "See, your mom, I don't pray that she dies now, but now let's say in 20 years' time, she goes home to be with God. By the time you want to do the burial, all the how do I say, the expenses, of the funeral will be on people who are abroad, really. Yes. If for instance you're like the only child of your parents and they are back home, so you still have two parents that are alive. Let's say in the next 20 years, one goes to be with God. In the next 15 years, another one goes to be with God. How prepared are you? I mean, emotionally, financially, mentally, how prepared are you? How prepared are you? So okay, that makes me to just like make me think about life, not just planning for oneself only. If you still have your parents alive, you also have to plan for them, think about them, provide for them, save for them. Why I'm saying save for them is that in some parts of the world where people have to take money, from their pockets to pay for bills, for medical bills, no one would really help you, but you have to make plans. For instance, I lost my mother-in-law the same year as well. January 1st, she died, and my dad died July 31st. Within a space of 6 months, we lost two parents. My mother-in-law had been on dialysis 3 times every week, sometimes twice every week. It was a whole lot. And she was on dialysis for like almost 2 years. She died in January. The same January would have made it 2 years that she had been on dialysis for. Before then, she had been on erythropoietin injection. I know that's a big term, but it's just for kidney issues or red blood cells production because she had polycystic kidney disease. And it was a whole lot every month. I mean, having to pay hospital bills, but we were happy we were doing it to save a life. We were happy, that we could do it. We had to work for it. We had to do it. We had to do it. And sometimes, in the doing, like you get blessed. In the doings, you get to a point where now you just feel at peace that you've done all that you can do, apart from praying, trusting God for healing, trusting God to do what only He can do. Yeah, and we are grateful. We are grateful. Yeah, we were sad that grandma died. We were sad that it happened, but we are grateful to God that we were able to do all that we're supposed to do, not just only in terms of money, but just being there, just being there. And I don't mean being there physically. And that's part of the hidden cost of migration. When you can't even just say, oh, let me just go and look at my mom. Let me just go and visit my mom. Let me just go and visit my father. You can't just say, the next flight, I'm using the next flight. Sometimes it's difficult. And so these are some of the hidden cost of migration. Love people, that people who would actually offend you, they will say things to you that you may not like, because all you do is you communicate with them on the phone. And with that, there's some things that may not, be able to get settled unless you see physically to sit down together and have heart to heart discussion. And I remember when I came back from the burial in September, a colleague called me and said, oh, this is part of the hidden cost of migration. And I said, yes, it is. It is hidden. We can't just go home when we want to go home. We can't just quickly go and cook, for our fathers, our mothers, at home, to say, yes, I'm here. We can't just quickly do that. It takes a whole lot of planning, it takes a whole lot of finances. So, how prepared are you? I'm not saying anyone will die, but eventually, if Jesus doesn't come tomorrow, people will die. So, how prepared are you? I don't want this particular video to be long, so I would do another one. Thank you so much. I am grateful. I'll still continue the Eden Cost of Migration series. God bless you. Bye. Thank you.